disappointing and disruptive. First tonight, that's how Prime Minister Philip Davis describing the nationwide industrial action that paralyzed government agencies this week. As workers return under a Supreme Court injunction, hear what the Prime Minister says his administration is doing to tackle the unrest. Also, the opposition sounding the alarm as winding up petitions and bankruptcy filings involving Sarkis's Merlion and CCA Bahamas raise questions about the future of Bahamian workers at two Nassau resorts. And government's VAT cut won't be a financial savior for taxpayers. One of the nation's leading economists warns that real change will depend on personal circumstances and grocers' response. Then in our news at 7:30, how your driver's license could be at risk. We'll tell you government's tough new insurance rules and how they're shaking up the road ahead. Our news live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our news live at 7. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Candino Knowles. Disappointing is how Prime Minister Philip Davis is describing nationwide industrial action that crippled several government agencies earlier this week. Yesterday, we told you about the Supreme Court injunction that ordered trade union Congress employees back to work today. The Prime Minister saying his administration is committed to fixing the outstanding issues. Bethany McDermott gets us started tonight.
As the Trade Union Congress affiliate members return to work today, Prime Minister Philip Davis said he's still trying to understand what motivated the two-day action. TUC President Obie Ferguson says the unions under his belt all face individual issues. Add to that the unfulfilled promises in the Memorandum of Understanding signed between the unions and then opposition leader Philip Davis ahead of the 2021 general election. But it seems the hardest hit agencies was the public healthcare system.
And yes, if there are issues with the government, they have the right to take industrial action. But in the context of their duty to their patients, the oath that they took to their patients, I think, is where the disappointment comes into for me.
Public Hospitals Authority Managing Director Dr. Abinette Roll Tuesday said 98% of junior doctors called out and around 60% of senior physicians called out. Another disappointing point for the Prime Minister is the fact that he says they were in talks. In a statement Sunday, Davis said he had a meeting set with Ferguson for Monday at 2 p.m. Ferguson said he never agreed to a meeting with the PM because of other obligations. Today, Davis said his office informed him that Ferguson did say he would not make the meeting because he had court. Air traffic controllers also pulled their labor, and according to Deputy Prime Minister and Tourism, Aviation and Investment Minister Chester Cooper, fortunately, contingency plans kept operations running.
My understanding of what occurred was that this wasn't about the air traffic controllers or the air traffic controllers union, but rather they were standing in what they call solidarity with their umbrella union.
Now, while all essential workers have returned to work, these ministers say they are committed to meeting with union officials to ensure all the matters are resolved.
The door remains open. We want to continue the conversation. The only way we're going to find resolution is to continue to negotiate, to continue to mediate.
Reporting for our news, I'm Bethany McDermott.
All right, thanks for that, Bethany. The opposition raising concerns about job security at Margaritaville and British Colonial Hotel following a major legal development. BML Properties Limited has filed winding up petitions in the Supreme Court seeking the orderly liquidation of local CCA entities. This comes after the New York Supreme Court ordered CCA to pay $1.6 billion to Sarkis's Merlion and BMPL, citing fraud that ultimately forced the company out of its Baha Mar investment. While CCA attempted to have the judgment stayed, it failed and has since filed for bankruptcy. BML is requesting the appointment of Simon Townend and Jean K. Green Thompson of KPMG Bahamas Limited, along with James Neal of KPMG Ireland, as joint liquidators. Their role would include maintaining operations and investigating alleged financial misconduct by CCA's Bahamian companies. In a statement, as Merlion said his company's actions aim to protect hotel operations and safeguard Bahamian jobs. Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard echoed those concerns, expressing cautious optimism about the proposal from Baha Mar's original developer.
We are especially concerned about the reputational damage that is done when there are conflicts between private developers and the government injects itself in a way that it could be accused of wrongdoing. This is why we've called for the Prime Minister to open an inquiry so we can understand the history of this deal and the PLP's relationship with the company that has declared bankruptcy.
All right, financial salvation is never going to come from the government. That's the key takeaway coming from one of the nation's top economists following the announcement of VAT on food being lowered. Marlena Leonard tells us how the real impact may come down to individual circumstances and the response from grocers.
Salvation for financial circumstances is never going to come from the government.
That's Executive Director of the Government Public Policy Institute at the University of the Bahamas, Zhivargo Lang, weighing in on how much of a difference the reduction on VAT and food items from 10 to 5% will really make to Bahamians' wallets. Still, he says,
a measure that halves a government's taxation on a thing, 50% reduction is significant.
When it comes to the level of meaningful impact on consumers, Lang says two things will influence the level of savings. One is the individual circumstance of each consumer. As for the second factor,
and it also depends on whether store owners do not introduce any cost increases that mitigate that reduction in the tax.
Here's what The Economist says is key to actually making a difference.
The only thing that's going to save us in terms of our financial circumstances is our own vigilance in managing what we spend versus what we earn and seeking ways of earning from multiple streams.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Marlena Leonard.
All right, thanks for that, Marlena. We've got much more to get to tonight. But for now, it's time for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. And Greg, a story coming up in world news, the LA fires. We've been following that since it happened. Very devastating. But we heard from the fire chief in LA that saying that the rain, they are in desperate need of rain. What's the conditions?
Badly.
Yeah, looking like up there.
They've not been getting much in terms of any rainfall. High pressure stays parked just offshore that area, and that's going to continue to provide the dry air mass. That Hawaiian river, what they call the Hawaiian Express, it brings a lot of tropical moisture across the western part of the U.S. That's further up north, it's near Canada, so a lot of Washington and the western Canadian provinces seeing that. So yeah, they're in a fire situation, and they haven't had much rain for the new year as yet. So those fires will continue, and they're devastating right now, burning down whole communities. But we have our little bit of a river right now, some cool air moving into our area, cold front down in southeast Bahamas. Behind that, nice change in the atmosphere, 69 degrees is our current temperature with a few clouds. It is breezy on the outside, and it's out of the northeast at 60 miles per hour. That's pumping in that cool air mass, making it feel like 67 degrees on the outside. Temperatures around the islands right now, 66 in Freeport, Grand Bahama, 67 in Marshall, Babaco. We pick up 70s in Alistown, Bimini, Nicholstown, Andros. Great Hapaki, 68, 69s here in the capital and over in Governor's Harbour, Eleuthera. Central Bahamas, 71, Kemps Bay, Georgetown, pair of 69s, Arthurstown, Cat Island, Coburn Townsend, Salvador, Deadman's 72, and into the southeast Bahamas. 75, Duncantown, Ragged Island, Abraham's Bay, 73 in Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, Delectable Bay, my favorite spot there, 74, 72 in Providenciales and Matthewtown in Agua. You guys are 76 at this hour. Satellite and radar composite, not much to talk about. We do have a high pressure system in charge that's moving in from the northwest, and that's going to continue to provide us with a nice dry air mass, but we do have some tropical moisture moving out of the Gulf of Mexico. That's all associated with a low pressure system. That's going to be our next front. That low will move across South Florida by the end of the week. That will drive a front across us by Sunday, Monday time frame. So we're looking at some reinforcing cold air mass with that front as well. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast.
Thanks, Greg. And when our news comes back, we hit the pool in our continuation of a week-long series, Swimming in Paradise. Sasha Lightbourne tackles the topic, talent in the water, but no gold at the Olympics.
Coming up in sports, the top junior sailors take to Montague for the KPMG Winter Youth Regatta. We'll fill you in on the details.
Welcome to Dr.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already.
America's 47th President Donald J. Trump takes office on January 20th. With a decisive victory and clear mandate from the American people, what will his anticipated policy changes in immigration, taxation, climate change, foreign policy, and social reconstruction mean for the Bahamas and the region? Join On the Record with me, Jerome Sawyer, Thursday, January 23rd at 8 p.m. from the nation's capital for a special Mission to Washington.
Unleash resilience. Secure the digital future. Navigate the evolving landscape of cyber threats. The future will be secured. Presenting the Alive Business Cybersecurity Conference. Securing the future. Navigating cyber challenges in business. Thursday, February 20th, 2025. Atlantis, Paradise Island. Register today. This is how we unleash resilience. This is how we create innovation. Together, let's secure the digital future.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like
All right, from swimming clubs to national and regional competitions, there's an abundance of young, talented swimmers in the country. This week, Sasha Lightbourne, she's taking a deeper dive into why all of this talent at the junior level is yielding only limited success at the Olympic level. Here's the latest installment of Swimming in Paradise.
The 2008 Olympics is where Alana Dillette got her shot at an Olympic medal. She helped cement a strong Olympic foundation for the Bahamas and inspired a new generation of swimmers looking for Olympic glory. With still a ways to go, she believes there are some missed fundamentals, like simply knowing how to swim.
Even though we're a powerhouse in swimming, how many Bahamians still don't know how to swim, who, if they did, could be really amazing swimmers.
Yet those who can and do swim competitively have helped the Bahamas to earn 6 consecutive Carifta swimming championships and back-to-back Goodwill Games wins. A stark comparison to only 2 swimmers qualifying for these recent Summer Olympics. But Dillette offers a different view upon closer examination.
If you think about the history of Olympians going for the Bahamas, it has increased as far as we've got to fluctuate it, I guess, in numbers. But when you think about like how far people have made it, you know, Ariana made it to the finals this year. Lamar, that's his name, right? He did really well from what I could see.
These days, Dillette is an associate professor at San Diego University. A dominant high school athlete, she continued her success on the collegiate circuit at Auburn University. She thinks Bahamian swimmers could benefit from competing against powerhouse countries well before the Olympics.
In swimming, the powerhouse countries we normally see are, you know, the US, Canada, Australia, and then there's always different European nations that are sprinkled in there with various swimmers. And so we're not getting exposure to any of those countries at the games that you mentioned from the regional level. So I definitely think that is a part of it.
You could sum it up as a good example of the ebbs and flows of sports. Dillette, like many of her contemporaries, believe the Olympic glory days for swimming are in the not-so-distant future.
I'm very excited to, you know, see how well everybody's doing and how far the sport has come.
And as a nation, we eagerly await to see who emerges as the next Ariana, Alana, or Jeremy. Reporting for our news, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Marknut. Let's do show. The top junior sailors in the country were on display in one of the landmark events on the sports calendar. the KPMG Winter Youth Regatta. Over the course of the 2 days at Montague, the sailors faced gusting winds one day and low winds the other, but in the end, Norman Cartwright and Drake Knowles emerged as two of the top performers. Cartwright, sailing out of the Nassau Yacht Club, won the ILCA 6 division. He finished first in all 6 races for a net total of 5 points.
LDK Performance highlighted its national weekend with a pro showcase featuring the top youth baseball players in the country. New York Mets first base coach Antoine Richardson and Chicago White Sox operation analyst Ethan Bain and the remainder of the LDK hosted dozens of Major League scouts at the Andre Rogers Stadium.
The NCAA track and field indoor season is underway, and Bahamians are already putting up record-setting performances. Oscar Smith Jr. highlighted the day for his Louisiana Tech Bulldogs at the Rod McCrary track and field meet in Louisville, Kentucky. His return to official competition produced a personal best and a new school record in the 60-meter hurdles, 7.74 seconds. Joel Forbes added another milestone to his resume, this time indoors. Forbes set a new national record in the 600 meters at the Commodore Challenge in Nashville, Tennessee. In the field, Kalia Jackson opened her indoor season with a second-place finish in the weight throw at the Gamecock Opener in Columbia, South Carolina. At the Badgers Midwest Invite in Wisconsin, Chicago State's Raymond Oriaki Jr. was second in the 60-meter hurdles in 8.02 seconds. Javanya Volkart, now a junior at Tennessee, finished third in the women's 300 meters in 27.55 seconds.
Bahamians struggled from the field, and the team struggled on the scoreboard in NBA action Tuesday night. Eric Gordon scored in double figures in back-to-back games for the first time this season, but his Philadelphia 76ers lost 118-102 to the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to our news at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as Israel and Hamas reach a ceasefire deal. And LA facing extreme fire danger as high winds are forecast. Plus, Trump's cabinet confirmation hearings continue. The story when our news returns.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
Unleash resilience. Secure the digital future. Navigate the evolving landscape of cyber threats. The future will be secured. Presenting the Alive Business Cybersecurity Conference. Securing the future. Navigating cyber challenges in business. Thursday, February 20th, 2025. Atlantis, Paradise Island. Register today. This is how we unleash resilience. This is how we create innovation. Together, let's secure the digital future.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having Business in a Box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies.
This is our news. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. After over a year of war, Israel and Hamas have struck a ceasefire deal following months of negotiation, with Qatar playing a key mediation role. The agreement, announced live by Qatar's Prime Minister, comes as hundreds of thousands of displaced Gazans prepare to return home. The conflict escalated after Hamas's attack on southern Israel on October 7, 2023, which left 1,200 people dead and 251 hostages taken. Israel's response has resulted in over 46,000 Palestinian deaths, according to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry. Now, currently, 94 hostages remain in Hamas custody, with 34 presumed dead. And Los Angeles braced for another dangerous day Wednesday, as winds fueling wildfires are forecast to intensify following the confirmation of the 25th fatality in the week-long outbreak. The National Weather Service warns of extreme fire danger in areas northwest of the city. Wind speeds could peak at 70 miles per hour in mountainous regions nearing hurricane force. Los Angeles County Fire Chief Anthony Maroon cautions that the combination of strong winds, low humidity, and dry vegetation keeps the fire risk critical. While some relief is expected later this week, officials stressing the urgent need for rain. And Donald Trump's Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi pledged Wednesday not to politicize the Justice Department, promising no enemies list under her leadership. Speaking to the Senate Judiciary Committee, Bondi sought to reassure critics concerned about potential targeting of Trump's political opponents. Democrats, however, remain wary, citing Trump's threats to use the justice system for revenge. Bondi also said she would review potential January 6th pardons on a case-by-case basis. Meanwhile, Trump's Secretary of State nominee Marco Rubio called for mutual concessions from Russia and Ukraine to end the ongoing war. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was January 15th. Then in our news at 7:30, the head of the Educators Union on Grand Bahama shares her take on the teachers' sick out and its effects on island schools. And the proposed pay shift that could affect how civil servants are paid back in the news tonight. While nothing has been decided, the Economic Affairs Minister weighs in on the ongoing discussions for a modernized salary system. When our news returns.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
America has spoken. Donald J. Trump is headed for a second term in the White House, with a Republican majority in the Senate and the Supreme Court. On January 20th, the world will witness his inauguration, and our news will be there. What will his changes mean for Bahamians in the region? Join Jerome Sawyer and the Our News team for a week of reports starting inauguration.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
Unleash resilience. Secure the digital future. Navigate the evolving landscape of cyber threats. The future will be secured. Presenting the Alive Business Cybersecurity Conference. Securing the future. Navigating cyber challenges in business. Thursday, February 20th, 2025. Atlantis, Paradise Island. Register today. This is how we unleash resilience. This is how we create innovation. Together, let's secure the digital future.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes me happy to come to work every day, to know that I'm helping someone.
These are the faces of the Grand Bahama Port Authority, helping to maintain infrastructure, grow the economy, and bring a better quality of life.
Our mission statement is to better the life.
Because I have to be a part of Grand Bahama.
Join me at Talia Hall every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. right here on Our News as we share these inspiring stories of Freeport. Stay with the team you already trust.
Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
America has spoken. Donald J. Trump.
On this day in Bahamian history in 1929, Martin Luther King was born in Atlanta, Georgia. King became a Baptist minister and iconic civil rights figure known for delivering passionate speeches such as his most iconic I Have a Dream speech. His tireless advocacy for African American political, social, and civil rights persisted until his tragic death on April 4, 1968. King, who is said to have been drawn to the Bahamas, especially Bimini, found inspirations there. On the eve of his assassination, King delivered the powerful I've Been to the Mountaintop speech, written in Bimini, addressing sanitation workers' struggles. King chose the Big Game Fishing Club's Cottage 3 as his home during his first visit to Bimini. In 2013, scores of BEC union members gathered in the parking lot of the power company's Blue Hill Road plant to express outrage over comments by then-Chairman Leslie Miller, who the day before said some workers were criminally abusing the overtime system, costing taxpayers millions of dollars.
We have sent directives from Bimini to the north, to Inago and Cricket Island to the south, that no employee is to work any overtime. So when the light turn off in the night, expect the light to stay off in the night, or call the chairman. Tell him come and get the bucket truck, and tell him go up on the pole and fix the light.
In 2018, then opposition and PLP leader Philip Davis lashed out at the Minnis administration for what he said was its inability to adequately address crime, despite campaign promises to do so.
Don't forget now, they boasted that they had the answer to crime. But so far, we have seen nothing different happening today than when they accused the PLP of fostering crime.
And in 2019, hackers took over servers of the Broadcasting Corporation, demanding $18,000 in Bitcoin in order to regain control of the system. BCB executives refused to pay the ransom, with then National Security Minister Marvin Dames addressing the issue the next day on January 15th. All right, tonight at 8 p.m., Our News Digital continues its Digital Pages series on the Our News Bahamas YouTube channel. In the series, Ardenia Miller, she's holding candid conversations with several leaders and freedom fighters, uncovering untold stories of our country's history from their perspective. Last night, we heard from former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram. Tonight's episode features former Governors General Sir Arthur Folkes. In the exclusive, he describes how he and other national heroes fought for freedom.
We were fighting against economic injustice because the Bahamas was controlled by what I have described as a classic oligarchy. A small, wealthy, racist group. And what they did was they allowed black people to go only so far economically.
All right, if you want to watch the full thing, head over to Our News on YouTube to watch any of today's top stories. Remember, you can also visit ournews.bs. In the meantime, that does it for us in News at 7. Joining us now, Natalia Hall. She's got the latest headlines. Natalia?
Thanks so much, Ken. Well, more public feedback on the 5-point cut in VAT on food. Plus, we'll tell you about a new price comparison app to help shoppers find the best deals. Here are your latest headlines. We're teaching because we love children, but we must be well. First tonight on our News Live at 7:30, the president of the Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union is speaking out tonight after several members of her union called in sick on Grand Bahama Monday. Also, the Free National Movement voices its stance on the ongoing TUC-led industrial action, raising concerns about the effect on vital services in the country. Plus, a 49-year-old man is discovered dead in a home in San Salvador. With details scarce, police are piecing together clues to determine the cause. And later, public servants face a big change. As the pay cycle shifts to bi-weekly, officials say the new pay schedule modernizes an outdated system. But how will public servants adapt to getting paid every 2 weeks instead of monthly? The story when our News Live at 7:30 returns. Welcome to
Candino Notes here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure and hit that follow button if you want to see more stories like this. Be sure and follow all of the R News social media pages. And hey, don't forget, turn on your notifications so you never miss out on top stories from the team you already trust.
Welcome to Paradise Games, where exceptional service meets the ultimate gaming experience. Our dedicated team is here to make every visit a win.
Now this is paradise.
This is more than just a place to play.
Now this is paradise.
It's where excitement meets world-class service.
Now this is paradise.
Now this is paradise.
Come, experience it for yourself. Now this is paradise.
Once I had a gal, she called me pain. Left me in the cold and pouring rain. So I decided to put her down. I took a trip to Cowboy Town.
I love my EV. I am Generation E.
I am Generation E. I am Generation E.
And I am Generation E.
Welcome to
Every season creates an opportunity for you to enjoy the comfort and security of your most valuable assets. Unfortunately, termites are common and very unwanted guests that never stop eating. With Struckham, you can enjoy the peace of mind as we protect your investment with our 3-year fumigation warranty. Struckham, #1 in pest control services.
Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
America has spoken. Donald J. Trump is headed for a second term in the White House with a Republican majority in the Senate and the Supreme Court.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Industrial action led by members of the Trade Union Congress has impacted healthcare, education, and air traffic services across Grand Bahama and the country this week. Well, tonight, the president of the Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union shares her perspective after several teachers who are WACU union members called in sick on Monday, disrupting classes at various schools on the island.
We're teaching because we love children, but we must, first of all, for ourselves, be well.
That's Sandra Major, president of the Bahamas Educators, Counselors, and Allied Workers Union, sharing her candid comments. Major maintains her members did not participate in a strike and followed proper protocols by calling in sick, citing that they simply weren't feeling well. The move by teachers forcing students to be dismissed from some public schools in Grand Bahama on Monday at noon. Despite clarifying that this was not a strike, Major reveals there are ongoing union concerns. Rental allowances is just one of the many issues.
We've been having a struggle with that because teachers having to come out of pocket.
Major says another issue is the length of time it takes for teachers to receive confirmations, which impacts their eligibility for bank loans. The union president claims there are also outstanding payments despite recent meetings with education heads.
But it becomes frustrating when someone continually has to wait.
Now, some have said while they understand the concerns of teachers, it's unfair to students as they are impacted. Major had this response to the criticism.
Teaching requires a lot of you. And so you have to know that parents must partner with teachers to understand sometimes the teacher's frustration. When you sit in a class of 30 children with one teacher with one fan, no one sees that.
As for the next steps,
it is our hope that the Prime Minister of this country will see to it that the needs of all of our teachers will be met.
As labor unrest continues across the country, opposition leader Michael Pintard is calling for government to prioritize pressing domestic matters, including rising living costs and unresolved labor disputes. While speaking with our news, Pintard criticized the government's handling of union concerns, pointing to recent protests as a result of unmet demands.
After our meetings with all of both of the umbrella organizations, that there were serious labor concerns, notwithstanding the meetings that the government would have had with the various unions. We were told consistently in the House that what we were saying and then what union leaders were saying was untrue. And so what we saw recently is a boiling over of passions because a number of concerns have not been met. And so the Prime Minister has to pay attention to these issues, and he has to respond. People want action and less talk from the Prime Minister.
With the healthcare system at a breaking point and teachers pulling out of classrooms in Grand Bahama, Pintard, who was on a walkabout of the downtown straw market Wednesday, calling for better financial management.
Much of the challenges require not just open communication, but resources in order to deal with the issue of increments, of promotions, etc. And unfortunately, the government is squandering our funds. They are not managing the funds properly. And so when it comes to dealing with bread and butter issues, they are short on resources. They need to control the contract process to make sure we have competitive bidding. Too many contracts are single source, and they are massive contracts, and you have no way of knowing if you are getting the best product or the best price.
Well, police are trying to put together the pieces around how a man died in San Salvador yesterday. Details are limited, but what we do know, the 49-year-old man was found unresponsive in a home in Long Bay just before 10. The man was taken to a local clinic and was pronounced dead by the local doctor. An autopsy is scheduled to determine the exact cause of death. While government says they are continuing to work with public servants whose pay cycle could be affected by a proposed new pay system. The new method of payment will see workers receive salaries every 2 weeks instead of once a month. An adjustment, government says, will modernize the old system currently in place. Speaking after the opening ceremony of a cybersecurity conference this morning, Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkita says while nothing has been decided, they're going to keep discussions ongoing.
You get different levels of feedback. You get direct feedback where people are very, very excited about it, what it can do to their cash flow, etc. And we have questions. And our view is we will answer the questions, we will address the concerns, and if it becomes that more people are against it than people want it, then, the government will not impose anything on people that would make their lives more difficult. We think it's a positive. If the workers disagree, the government is not wedded to it. We can easily just put it on the shelf.
While government has counted the benefits, those in the labor unions expressed concern over the proposal, saying government did not speak to them enough on the issue. Halkita says there's no need for those civil servants to panic.
Our view is that if the majority of the people express that they don't want it, the government is not interested in imposing something upon them that they do not want.
Well, government is cracking down on uninsured drivers with new amendments to the Road Traffic Act. As we told you last week, motorists will now be required to have their insurance policies updated at least 6 months before renewing their driver's licenses. A move officials say is aimed at increasing road safety. Our Delvado Emmanuel spoke with a representative from one of the leading insurance companies to unpack what this will mean for drivers.
As of January 1st, drivers must have vehicle insurance in place for at least 6 months before they can renew their licenses. The amendment comes amid growing concerns about the number of uninsured vehicles on Bahamian roads. According to Assistant Manager at BEF General and Vice President of the Bahamas Insurance Brokers Association, Anton Boleg, the push is because uninsured drivers pose a serious threat to road safety and can leave accident victims struggling to receive compensation.
Persons without insurance will cause accidents and cause bodily injury or property damage to persons, and they don't have insurance to cover it. And the only recourse the person would then have would be to go through the court system, and sometimes that's a lengthy process.
As for what that'll mean for persons who staggered their insurance and license renewal to spread out the cost.
Your licensing fee and your insurance would come due the same month, which could be a financial burden for some, particularly those persons who would have multiple vehicles, and they now have to insure and license all of those vehicles in the same month.
But how could this possibly impact insurance agencies?
We're going to now experience, or possibly experience, a lot more persons financing their policies, which could be a receivables issue for us and create cash flow issues within certain smaller companies.
Boleg gave his suggestions for policymakers.
Maybe to digitize the licensing system so that they can tie in directly with the systems of insurers and get information on insurance policies in real time.
Reporting for our news, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
All right, thanks so much, Alvaro. Well, Prime Minister Philip Davis recently announced a major tax relief for the country aimed at easing the financial burden on Bahamian families. This as the value-added tax on all foods sold in grocery stores will be slashed in half, going from 10% to 5%. According to the Prime Minister, the reduced VAT rate will take effect this April and is expected to provide immediate relief to households grappling with rising prices. In addition, government plans to roll out at the end of the first quarter a new price comparison app, which will allow Bahamians to easily compare prices across various retailers. Well, during our monthly sit-down interview, David Slatter, Vice President and Group Head of Investment at RF Bank and Trust, weighed in on the move. He says there's no doubt consumers need relief at this time.
While the rate of inflation has come down, price levels have not. So the rapid inflation you had over the high levels of inflation you had over the last few years have elevated price levels. And those price levels haven't receded. They've remained elevated. It just means that the rate of inflation has slowed down. So consumers need as much relief as possible. So the challenge for the government, though, is that I think it was noted by Minister Alkitis that the 5% decrease in VAT will result in $30 million shortfall in revenue. So once again, it's a fiscal challenge that the government has got to find a way to fill that hole, right? So you're $30 million less in revenue because of the reduction in VAT. The potential for increased benefits for the union members, which could have a negative impact on the fiscal position in the future. So the government, the government has been doing a good job of trying to get the debt down, the debt to GDP ratio in line, but these are just new challenges that may make that effort a little more difficult and may delay getting to that target of 50% debt to GDP by fiscal 2030-31.
All right, well, cooler conditions are making a comeback. Will the chill last into the weekend? Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center live with your first look at weather. Greg, 69 degrees.
Yep.
Got a weather.
It's going to get a little further than that, south of 69. And of course, we do expect another front by the weekend. That's going to continue to reinforce the nice conditions we've been having. 69 degrees, as you mentioned, is our current temperature outside. Few clouds. It's still on the breezy side. Your winds out of the north-northeast at 15 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 67. Satellite radar composite, high pressure across our area, still a little strong, but it's going to weaken as it slides off towards the east. Frontal boundary now down in the southeast Bahamas. Not much weather associated with that, but a low pressure system is developing in the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to drag a front across our area by the weekend. So we're looking for some isolated showers in the front, and then we have some more cooler air expected by early next week. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. We'll tell you more about what's expected next week when we do have a really significant cold air mass coming in. When our news comes back.
Still to come on our news in tonight's City in Focus, we explore the innovative programs helping Grand Bahamas youth thrive in a technology-driven world. The story when our news continues.
There are some.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Sasha Lightborn here, and thank
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
In what we do at Best Brew, it really doesn't end when the customer purchases our product. We offer specialty coffee, tea, spices, and brewing equipment. We do a lot of our orders via website. We actually have the mobile service and the phone service and the internet. So having business in a box really kind of brought everything together for us and helps us to be able to provide the customer services that we pride ourselves on.
America has spoken. Donald J.
Now to our City in Focus segment on Grand Bahama. Over the past few weeks, we've taken you inside the Sir Charles Haywood Library, maintained by the Grand Bahama Port Authority, showcasing how it supports the community. Tonight, we explore another innovative program aimed at helping young people thrive in the digital age. The Sir Charles Haywood Library is stepping into the future, offering a new digital library service called Overdrive. Aimed at adults, Overdrive provides ebooks and a wide array of magazines. Library Administrator Shinrika Foston says it's perfect for those who can't always visit in person and want to stay current with 21st century reading standards. For younger readers, the library has introduced iVox, which allows children to use tablets or other devices to read and be read to by interactive technology.
So if a child is having difficulty reading, that it helps. It reminded me of I think it's Hooked on Phonics, and it's just an upgrade from that.
And since the introduction of these new technologies, membership at the library has seen an uptick.
And the interest in the library, the children love the iVox and the IR books. And that's what I love to see, because it really gets them reading and they're really interested in it.
And to keep the library relevant, Foston says she's always looking ahead. Her next project is encouraging children to travel the world through books in the library.
We have a lot of school visits. They bring their classes here, and when I hear the children, I even have adults who said they have never been in here, and I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Or the last time I was in here, my grandkids, I brought them. But to see the excitement on the children's faces when they come in when we have the school field trips, or I have once a month, I'll have a Saturday program for children, reading, storytelling. Depends on what time of year it is. I'll have an event for them just to get them involved in the library so that they can know, yes, we're the most colorful building, I think, in Grand Bahama at this time. So not only do we stand out because of our color, but I want us to stand out because of what we offer our children.
Coming up in sports, we talk winners from the KPMG Winter Youth Regatta and a few program and national records from indoor track and field.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home health care supplier. Medical supplies at the very...
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
Donald Trump has been elected president, defeating Vice President Kamala Harris.
America has spoken. Donald J. Trump is headed for a second term in the White House with a Republican majority in the Senate and the Supreme Court. On January 20th, the world will witness his inauguration, and our news will be there. What will his changes mean for Bahamians in the region? Join Jerome Sawyer and the Our
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Martinet. Let's do show. The top junior sailors in the country were on display in one of the landmark events on the sports calendar, the KPMG Winter Youth Regatta. Over the course of the 2 days at Montague, the sailors faced gusting winds one day and low winds the other, but in the end, Norman Cartwright and Drake Knowles emerged as two of the top performers. Cartwright, sailing out of the Nassau Yacht Club, won the ILCA 6 division. He finished first in all 6 races for a net total of 5 points. Knowles, sailing out of the Mac Knowles Junior Sailing Club in Long Island, accomplished the same feat to win the Optimist Championship. He took first place in all 6 races in the series en route to the title. After watching his older brother dominate the ILCA 6, Nash Cartwright took first place in the ILCA 4 class. The Bahamas National Sailing School product tied in points with Life for Key Sailing's Armand Manwat Carr, but was named the overall winner on a tiebreaker. In the Optimist Green Fleet, James Honeycutt out of the Bahamas National Sailing School took first place, while his teammate Kai Harvey took first place in the Sunfish class.
LDK Performance highlighted its national weekend with a pro showcase featuring the top youth baseball players in the country. New York Mets first base coach Antoine Richardson and Chicago White Sox operation analyst Ethan Bain and the remainder of the LDK hosted dozens of major league scouts at the Andre Rogers Stadium. Players from as young as 12 were invited to the showcase, looking for opportunities to further their careers on the baseball diamond. The showcase concluded a week of events aimed at showcasing young Bahamian baseball players to an international audience. LDK and the MOB Players Alumni Association hosted a free camp, and the organization also joined with Arawak Homes to host a group panel discussion on the life of a student athlete.
The NCAA track and field indoor season is underway, and Bahamians are already putting up record-setting performances. Oscar Smith Jr. highlighted the day for his Louisiana Tech Bulldogs at the Rod McCrary track and field meet in Louisville, Kentucky. Injuries kept Smith sidelined for nearly 2 years, but his return to official competition produced a personal best and a new school record in the 60-meter hurdles, 7.74 seconds. Smith first set the new program record in the prelims at 7.82 seconds and lowered that time in the final. 800-meter national record holder Joel Forbes added another milestone to his resume, this time indoors. Forbes set a new national record in the 600 meters at the Commodore Challenge in Nashville, Tennessee. Running unattached, he finished in 1 minute 18.26 seconds to surpass the previous record of 1 minute 18.29 seconds set by Andre Kohlberg in 2017. In the field, Kalia Jackson opened her indoor season with a second-place finish in the weight throw at the Gamecock Opener in Columbia, South Carolina. The Miami Hurricanes sophomore threw 18.09 meters. At the Badgers Midwest Invite in Wisconsin, Chicago State's Raymond Oriaki Jr. was second in the 60-meter hurdles in 8.02 seconds. At the McFerrin 12-degree Invitational at the Bryan College Station in Texas, Olympic quarter-miler Giovanni Volkart, now a junior at Tennessee, finished third in the women's 300 meters in 27.55 seconds.
Bahamians struggled from the field, and the team struggled on the scoreboard in NBA action Tuesday night. Eric Gordon scored in double figures in back-to-back games for the first time this season, but his Philadelphia 76ers lost 118-102 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. Gordon finished with 10 points and shot 3 from 8 from 3. DeAndre Ayton scored just 2 points on 4 field goal attempts and grabbed 8 rebounds in his Portland Trailblazers 132-114 loss to the Brooklyn Nets. Klay Thompson scored 8 points for the Dallas Mavericks in their 118-99 loss to the Denver Nuggets.
That'll do it for sports. This is 10YS. A 600-meter national record? Is there an obscure event that you think you can get a national record in?
Probably total nap time in a year.
I believe you have that already. Back to the studio.
A welcome dip in temperatures greets us this Wednesday. Find out what the rest of the week has in store with Greg in our extended forecast when our news continues. Stay with us.
Welcome to Doctors Hospital West.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Embrace technology and the digital transformation for better business results. For small business owners, it's essential to understand how technology can affect operational efficiencies. Modern communication relies on technology, and your customer service depends on communication. With proper tools like our fixed and mobile services, we help you stay connected. For solutions that work, ask the experts. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions.
Sasha Lightborn here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow all of the R News social media pages to make sure that you don't miss those top stories from the team you already trust.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
Unleash resilience.
This is our news. Welcome back. We have a frontal boundary now across the southeast Bahamas that's basically falling apart. High pressure behind that is generating some rather nice cool conditions, but we do have some choppy seas out there, so we're asking you boaters and your beachgoers to exercise some caution. That frontal boundary down near the southeast Bahamas will wash itself out. We are watching a low pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico that will be forming. That should be moving in front across us by Saturday, Sunday time frame, so we're looking for some reinforcing cold air mass as that frontal system pushes through us. Future forecast showing the frontal boundary now down near the southeast Bahamas, basically moving to the southeast. Low pressure starting to develop in the Gulf of Mexico, moving across the southern portion of Florida by the weekend. Once again, a frontal boundary expected on the weekend. Boating forecast, northwest and central Bahamas, caution flag for the Atlantic side. Rip current risk is still high, north and northeast winds 15 to 20 tonight, but they will be falling 10 to 15 tomorrow, seas 2 to 4 feet, up to 7 feet in northeasterly swells. And then for the southeast Bahamas, caution flag for you guys down there as well, but your winds northeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, seas 2 to 4 feet, up to 6 feet in some swells. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, beautiful conditions expected for the remainder of the week. Front boundary will come in on the weekend. By early next week, temperatures will take a slight dip, but we will expect some nice weather conditions for the next several days. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks so much, Greg. Cool temperatures on the way. And this reminder before we leave you, Our News Digital continues its exclusive series, Digital Pages, on the Our News Bahamas YouTube channel. Our Daniel Miller holds candid conversations with several leaders and freedom fighters, uncovering untold stories of our country's history from their perspective. Be sure to head over to Our News on YouTube right now for tonight's episode featuring former Governor General Sir Arthur Foulkes. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.